All right, we got another $30 super chat by Rob. Again, continuing to make it rain. Snowflake did partner with Nvidia. So his question is, should Palantir partner with Nvidia? I have a couple quick thoughts on this, and then I want to get you guys. I have no idea what the Snowflake partnership with Nvidia would look like. The non-skeptic in me wants to say this is a great partnership. It's a great deal. It's going to result in massive growth for Snowflake. Essentially, generative AI applications in a safe way is basically what Palantir's AIP is. They're partnering with Nvidia to give that to their commercial clients, and they have 8,000 of those clients. The skeptic in me wants to be like, why are you partnering with an AI semiconductor chips company to build generative AI applications for enterprises? I get the whole LLMs training stuff, but why do you need Nvidia for that? Palantir doesn't need AMD for that. Second of all, you acquired Neva. Why aren't you doing a press conference with Neva, which is the company you acquired to do this in the first place? Like, is Neva somehow, which Neva's, I don't even know if they've ever generated a profit. Are they going to work with Nvidia? How is this really going to work out? And then third of all, is this a conference that's just fluff to be able to tout the words generative AI? Because I watched a little bit of them talking back and forth, and a lot of it was just Frank Slootman saying, we're the best, we're going to get it done. And I'm like, well, Palantir has AIP in the market. 2 months after ChatGPT, the thing was architected, designed, ready to go, and they hosted a whole fucking conference with the biggest companies in the world using it. So, Arnie, any thoughts on this?
Well, I don't really like Snowflake, so obviously my opinion is quite biased. But I agree with you. It seems that Snowflake is just in search for attention, and this conference gave me that impression. Nvidia is clearly the hot cake right now, and if you go along with the hot girl, you are cool. That's the impression I had, especially from the conversation that insisted, oh, we're the best here and there, and Nvidia said, oh, you're the best. So nothing really substantial, and the fact that Snowflake is keep acquiring companies, to me, is a hint of weakness, not a hint of strength. M&A is always an option, especially when we are free cash flow. Actually, I think the beautiful thing is when you are at the point where you can build solutions that you need on your own. And it seems that is exactly what Palantir has done. Palantir has done many minor acquisitions in the past, in the very early days, but so far they're not acquiring. They need to develop a new stuff, they build it. Snowflake is getting the addiction of keep doing M&A. That is also related to what Karp said. You have these companies that after a certain point, they realize, oh, we don't really have the infrastructure to build new products. Let's keep acquiring them. The more you grow, the more incentive you have to keep growing by M&A. And M&As are not easy. Let's look at Salesforce that bought a lot of companies, and they're not really integrating them well. For instance, with Slack, they made a mistake in terms of numbers. So I don't see Snowflake in a position of true strength. It's obviously a great company, but the moves that they are making, in my opinion, tell that they are selling a vision of the company being much stronger than it currently is. Because if they need to keep acquiring companies, it means that also on the R&D side, they are not ready yet. So while for Palantir, I see that the big of the R&D has already been done, and now they need to just commercialize and focus on, we sell this thing better. We have a product, we just need to sell. With Snowflake, there is this loop of them keep searching to surf the way, and they need to create stuff on the wheel, which also from a financial standpoint, to me, is not a positive hint. Obviously, I don't know Snowflake well enough to be 100% sure with that, but that's the feeling I'm getting from what I see.
Sure. I think, well said. I think what people need to recognize is that the way that Snowflake and Palantir utilize clouds and how they partner with cloud is very different. So Snowflake, generally speaking, owns their clouds. And so, and you're paying for, when you utilize Snowflake, the cloud computing from Snowflake. So the use of an Nvidia for Snowflake would be much more than what you would use for Palantir. And I'm not saying that Palantir wouldn't benefit from Nvidia, but that is really up to the cloud providers that Palantir partners with, which is AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, and that is where the cloud aspect of things comes in from Palantir. They don't, and we actually talked about this a little bit earlier in the chat, is when will Palantir actually start providing their own cloud? I personally think it's a good use of the capital that they have sitting on hand, the $2 billion that is just sitting there. I think it could be an opportunity for them. That could be something that I think maybe that they're waiting for in the future, or maybe not at all. Maybe they think that that's not what we're in business for. We're in business for solving big problems. So we're not in business of solving people's computing problems. We'll use AWS and Google Cloud for that. So to answer your question, I don't think that Nvidia would have a partnership from a hardware perspective like you think would be going on with Snowflake, because Snowflake actually owns their cloud and their computing engines, and that's how a lot of Snowflake's money is made. Versus Palantir is mostly focused on, they do a little bit of they allow you to use your own cloud, which is nice because you don't have to move clouds, which is always a pain in the butt. But they're more so focused on the actual deployment of the analytics piece and utilizing other people's engines to truly make that work. And so maybe that helps clarify your question. But first and foremost, thank you for the $100 super chat earlier and then $30 super chat right then. I think that that's really helpful. And I think hopefully me answering that question alleviates some people's thoughts and preconceived notions about how Palantir uses cloud as well.
Sorry to interrupt. Wasn't it true that Palantir was already partnering with Nvidia on the Titan project? I have this thought, like I remember this. I'm not finding the evidence. If you have some hints, please share.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, that's physical, right? So I could see that they'd be partnering when it's a physical piece, right? So that is true. I didn't really think about the SkyKit piece and also the Titan piece, which is kind of like edge related sort of material. The way I was thinking about it more so was like enterprise in big companies. So you could be right there, 100%, Arnie. That's a really good point.